Hello everybody. So in this video I'm going to talk about Om. We're going to look at the Mandukya Upanishad again. We looked at the 7th verse previously in another video, which is the most important mantra, the most important verse in Advaita Vedanta, according to Swami Savarapinanda. So we did that in another video. We saw that it spoke about the 3 states of waking, dreaming and deep sleep, and the silence after it, which represents Turiya, which is you. It is it's your true self. It's the ultimate reality. It's Brahman, the ground of being. So here we're going to look at this in how the Upanishad begins. It begins, Hari Om. Om, the word, is all this, the whole universe. All that is past, present, and future is, indeed, Om. And whatever else there is, beyond the threefold division of time, that also is truly Om. So, it's an important word. It exists in all the religions of India. So we've got, it's an important word in Buddhism, in Hinduism, in Sikhism, and Jainism, and in a lot of religion, it's a symbol. It represents something divine, or God, or the ultimate reality, or some primordial vibration. And this symbol is called Pratika. That's when they use a symbol to represent something. So you go to a temple and you see a god, and it represents God. It's not actually God. Now, we are going to see, as the Upanishad suggested, the Om actually is the ultimate reality. It is everything. And we're going to look at this. First, we're going to do analysis. We're going to do 3 stages. The first stage is we're going to see how it represents. It's Pratika, yeah? How it represents the ultimate reality. Then we're going to see why. And then in the 3rd stage, we're going to see how it really is the ultimate reality. We can see this difference also in Christianity, say between Anglicanism and Catholicism. So I don't really know about Anglicanism, but or how to pronounce it. Strangely, it seems to suddenly doesn't sound quite right. Anyway, so the Blessed Sacrament, the Eucharist, the host, the piece of bread that they give you, in the Anglican Church, at least in the normal church, maybe the High Church has closer to Catholicism, but it represents God. So it represents God, it represents Christ, it represents the Last Supper. You're partaking in this this reenactment, basically. But in the Catholic Church, the teaching, because it's transubstantiation, so it actually becomes, in the Mass, it becomes Christ, it becomes Jesus. It's God there, and you eat it. So pretty trippy, really. Every weekend as a kid, I went to church and I ate God after First Holy Communion, of course, because before that you're not allowed. So it really does, and in the same way, a lot of Indian religion sees Om as a symbol, as a pointer to something deeper, but it is actually the real thing, according to this Mandukya Upanishad and according to Gaudapada. So the first analysis, we look at it, so it's a sound that represents something divine. You can use it for meditation because it is a sound. It can calm your mind, very useful. It's sacred. There are some ideas that in Vedic cosmology, Om was the first vibration, and out of that all the other sounds came, and the whole universe came from that. And that was the first vibration. Then we look at the second level. So we go a bit deeper. Now, Om it's pronounced like this, Om, but it's actually written A-U-M. Now that A-U in Sanskrit is pronounced as an or sound. Like similar to the English O, really. But O, the letter O, is a diphthong, this is a pure vowel. Or, and we have it in Spanish, not so much in English. You can see how even in English, two vowels often become one vowel. So we have things like court, taught, that AU in court and taught, C-A-U-G-H-T, T-A-U-G-H-T, the AU becomes an or sound. So it becomes a vowel, a long vowel, instead of being a diphthong. A diphthong is where there's a movement between two vowels. So instead of AU here being AU, caut, so Spanish people, they pronounce it how it's written often, and they might say tout or caut. But hopefully they eliminate that and learn how to pronounce it pretty quickly. But yeah, so it happens in English too. And although it's written with 3 letters, is pronounced with 2 sounds. So the first letter is A, R, with the mouth fully open. And the last letter is with the mouth fully closed. So in between that, all sounds can be produced. Between having your mouth fully open and closed, all things can be produced. There's everything in between. All words, everything. Now, here we have the A, we have the U. So, R, U. That U is the kind of in between. So what we do is we map the 3 sounds of well, the 3 letters, in fact, and the silence after it, we map it to the waking, the dreaming, and the deep sleep. So the R is waking because it's the first, and we begin when we're waking. It's not a very convincing argument, but there you go. That's how I heard it. The next one, U, it's a slight retreat in. U. It's a slight closing of the mouth, it's a retreat in, and it's the dream state or the subtle world, so everything's inside your head. Now, and they say that if you meditate on the R, but you have to meditate the whole you can't just say R. If you meditate on the R, all your desires will be fulfilled, all the physical world things. If you meditate on the U, as being deep sleep, they say that you'll always have enlightenment in your lineage or something like that. Right, the last sound is and that's where it ends. And that according to Shankaracharya, is the measure of everything. Now, what does that mean? So it can be seen kind of in the sound Om, and it measures it out. It kind of gives it an end. So it kind of measures it. It ends it and gives it a size. It limits it. But it's supposed to represent deep sleep. So how is deep sleep the measure of everything? Well, the idea is that all your waking and dream world goes into the deep sleep. It's not that it's not present in the deep sleep, it's all there. It is the seed state. So it's all in there, in the deep sleep, a bit mashed up. There's no duality there. We don't experience duality in deep sleep, but it's all there. And then it all comes out again when you wake up again. So it's kind of this thing that contains everything and keeps it as a seed, and then it comes out again when you wake up. And the example given, I'll give my own interpretation, not an interpretation, my own example. So when I make breakfast in the morning, I have some oats in a bag and I pour them into a cup. So the oats disappear into the cup. And then I use the cup and pour it into a bowl where I have my breakfast. So that's how it's the measure, and that's what happens with deep sleep. The original was with a pot, surprisingly, but it's based on how in India in the past, and apparently even now, people measure food like that. So to be honest, they do it here in Spain too, and I'm sure they do it in England. They call it a granel in Spanish, where you just weigh it out. So you might take a cup worth of lentils or something, and yeah, I'll have 3 cups, please. And so that's how it's done. So the lentils disappear into the cup, and then they go out. So they are the measure. So deep sleep is the measure of everything. Okay, so there we go. So that points to deep sleep. So there we have it. We have the R representing the waking state, the U representing the dream state, and the M representing the deep sleep. Then there is silence afterwards. And this silence represents Turiya, represents what we call Turiya, and what is called Turiya in Gaudapada's Karika, in his interpretation of the Mandukya Upanishad. But it means you, it means consciousness, it means the ultimate reality, it's Brahman. So this Turiya, the fourth, is not an extra state, it's the thing that underlies everything. So it's the silence that underlies everything. Now, then we go on to the third level. So in the third level, it's not representing, it really is the reality. It really is Brahman. It really is everything. The sound Om, in the same way that in the Catholic Church, the Eucharist, the Blessed Sacrament, the host, really is Christ. In this way, Om really is everything. It's Brahman. And you. So how did they do that? Well, first we look at some Advaitan philosophy. So the idea is that every name must point to something. So we have a teapot made of clay, and the name teapot points to something which has the form and the use of a teapot. But it's the material cause, the thing that it's made of, is clay. Now, if you take away the clay, then you have no teapot. You can't pour hot water into your teapot that doesn't have any clay in. And I'm, okay, glass teapots don't count, etc. So when you take away the clay, there is nothing. The name points to an empty form and use. So in reality, the only reality is the clay of the pot. And in the same way, the only reality is Brahman, is your consciousness. Now, the sound Om can produce all sounds. It represents all sounds. It is all sounds, because anything is between those two, between O, the A and the M, everything is there. So all the world, all the universe, sleeping, deep sleep, waking, everything, all the names are there. Now, the silence after, and that's underneath the sound, because it's not just the silence of there being the sound, and then after there's the silence, there is actually the silence that's kind of holding everything, that's underneath both the sound of Om and the silence after. There's this deeper silence. And that deeper silence is your consciousness. It really is you. So it really is the ultimate reality. So here we see that Om really is what you really are. So there you go. I hope that was interesting. It's a bit, it's a Saturday night video, so there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments if you're interested in Om. Goodbye. Oh, and actually, maybe I'll just do a few Oms before I go. See you next time.